Alright, welcome back to the SuperCoach Nuff channel. In this video we're going to review the absolute train wreck that was round one of the 2024 NRL SuperCoach season. So as you can see, not the best week for myself. 766 points is all I could manage to garner, which wasn't even good enough for the top 100,000. And there's only 140,000 people playing, so that's pretty average. But I guess it was just one of those weekends where things didn't go our way. I suppose the Bulldogs game was a microcosm of that. You know, they just couldn't hang on to the ball in the first half, and the Eels just did not give them a sniff. So a couple of signs of life late, and I guess that was also sort of the case with my Supercoach team. But the damage had already been done. So as you can see, 2 league wins out of 6. Probably lucky to get those 2, if I'm being honest. And I guess also just a bit of a reminder there about the draft is on 6 o'clock tonight. So that's Brisbane time. So if you're in Sydney, that's 7. If you're further afield, I'll let you work out the local time there. So yeah, come back and have a look at the live stream. I'm going to have a go at live streaming tonight. It could be absolutely anything. But we'll have a look at the team and where it all went wrong. So Harry Grant was slightly underwhelming with a 49, but compared to some of our other scorers, he went okay. Danny Levi got a try, which boosted his score, but you can see with the try and the line break, he still only got 45. So, you know, I think we're relying on a couple of those sneaky attacking stats to get a bit of cash out of him. But we'll definitely be looking for our second hooker option as soon as we can. In our front row, we had Ruben Cotter get a 46. I think he had pretty good minutes, so maybe just the PPM was down a bit. You know, we did look at Tommy Flegler in that spot, and he got a try and scored a few more points. I think it was 60 odd. So, you know, left a few points on the table there. But definitely left a lot of points on the table across the board, let's be honest. So Totola with a 37 was solid but not spectacular. So he may be moving for someone that's a bit more spectacular this week. Sam Hughes, you know, come off the bench and did enough with 31. Unfortunately, coughed up the ball on the run and led to the Eels getting a try, which I guess isn't ideal. But you know, he still did enough while he was out there, and you think there's probably scope for him to get some more minutes. And Liam Henry got a few more minutes than what he did in the trial, which was good to see. So I think, you know, picking him over, you know, Viliami Fafita and the like was probably the right call there. So all in all, okay with the front row. We weren't expecting miracles, and yeah, we definitely didn't get that. Our second row, obviously, we had Pia Kura, head knock last week. Josh Curran, you know, come off the bench after 15 minutes, played the rest of the game. Probably played a bit on the edge. Not sure if that was just covering fatigue because of the amount of defence the Dogs were forced to do due to circumstances in the first half. But the fact that, you know, in such a tough game that he played big minutes is you know, it's a good sign for things to come. Smithies was really good too. You know, played decent minutes in the middle. You know, tackled well, ran the ball quite a bit. So I was happy with his 58. Lukey with a 63. You know, I didn't watch the Cowboys game. By Sunday, I'd sort of had enough of footy, given how terribly everything was panning out for me. But a good return from him. I believe he scored a try, but I also believe he was subbed off and Finan Fuiaki come on. So, you know, 63 is good enough for now, so we'll keep him. Kick out, he was another one that was looking on the chopping block there. But that late try assist to Crichton, probably enough to sort of save him and, you know, have the faith that the Bulldogs attack can only get better. And Joe Chan with the 24, so played decent minutes. Um, Not sure why the score was so low. I thought he went okay. Um, yeah, it was a long time ago now, Friday night. So, but yeah, just a tough defensive effort from the Storm. So I guess, yeah, well done to them. So I guess the halves is where we missed out. So we paid close to $2 million and we got a grand total of 62 points. Well, what's that? Not even maybe not even 100 if you count Cleary's captain score. So what's that? 72, 20, 98. So very underwhelming from both, but particularly Hines. We didn't pick him for week one necessarily. He's got the Dogs this week who, their defense did look better, but, if they can't hold on the ball, the Sharks will get plenty of it. And then they've got the Tigers, who we haven't seen yet, but, based off last year and trials, there's probably some points on the table there for the Sharks. Cleary does have a tougher run with, Parramatta, Broncos, the next two, but we know what he's capable of. It was just one of those games where the attack just didn't seem to work. But you know, no, it wasn't like there was really a halfback that stood out from the pack this week. Like Johnson did well, but nothing spectacular. Um, even Moses was injured, so it was just one of those weeks where you don't worry about it and you move on for another week. Dylan Brown was okay, obviously taking over a lot of the playmaking duties when Moses did get injured. So 54 was an okay return for him. Cole Flanagan, looked good, scored a try, and was definitely, very involved in the attack. Looked like he had more energy as well than at his time at the Dogs, and probably the same for Mariner, if we're being completely honest. So good on them, going to the Dragons, doing well. But 58, I think that's turned out to be an okay decision for us. The backs, so two of us are Sheck, didn't set it on fire, but again, it wasn't a high scoring game, so 46 is fine. Hutchison, did what he had to do, but just didn't get much chance to attack, so 34. Salmon was probably just unlucky that he had to cover the edge because of Ado Carr's injury, so, might have got a few more points in the middle. Travojevic, we talked about last week, was quite good. Um, who else played last week that I've brushed over? Oh, Totola, that's right. So we had three. Excuse me. Jack Bostock, 38 with a try. So not ideal, but I think that's what we're relying on is him scoring some tries to lift that price up and make some money. Tua Picky was good with the 49, at his cheap price. And Strange just sort of struggled to get on the ball. It seemed like everything was going through Fogarty. Um, so 28 for him, but I'm sure he'll have better days. And on the bench, obviously Ponga with 50. We sort of said, oh, we're not taking that as a VC score. Hindsight's a wonderful thing. And Pappenhausen with the 30. So again, not the most attacking display from Melbourne, just gutsy defensive effort, which sort of limited his upside as well. So I guess for this week, the sort of guns we've gone with in our spine didn't really pay off. But it's a marathon, it's not a sprint. So we're not going to panic on those guys. But we'll have a look at the leagues and how they went. So did get up in one of the three Supercoach Nuff leagues, but Timmy's caddy a bit too good on the day. So it's finally good we actually get to see some of the teams. You don't get to see them till the end of week one. So I can see he went with Latrell, who turned up, which is pretty awesome. I did see Chris was ahead of me quite early, so that would probably explain that. Captain Ponga, so again, not the worst move considering the halves and how they went. Had Moses as halfback, so that sort of stung a bit. Um, we both had Hines, Piakura, both had Lukey, so the two guys that scored the most for my team, were well covered. And on the bench has Coruscant on the bench. Nice, I don't hate that. Smithy's on the bench, a few points left on the table there. But other than that, not too bad. Farmer Silly, I wouldn't have. It looks like he's just going to play that opening salvo and then get off the park. And I mean, I think Seraldo should just cut to it, get rid of Puasa, bring in another sort of utility type option to cover the edges a bit better, and just rotate those guys through the middle like Curran, Hughes. They've got the motors. Just let the boys play. But in the first league, let's have a bit of a look through. So a couple of 900s, 972 for Milkmangs. Must be a Raiders fan. Looks like the top score. So high scoring game actually. So Rosita would be filthy. Scoring a 900 and losing this week is very stiff. So having a look. So Tedesco was a good call. Val Holmes, great call, tunning up. Bo Fermor, could have done better. But then who did they have in the Taylor May was really good. So definitely on my watch list. Um, I guess I just wanted to see it for real, and it was for real. So definitely one we've got to try to get in, I think, in the next couple of weeks before his price kicks off. Playing Robson, obviously outscoring Grant was probably the right call too. So yeah, nice work, team. All right, if we have a look at the second set of fixtures, so getting up over hindsight is 40-20. I like the pun name. So first place in this league, that probably um, says a bit more about hindsight rather than myself. What went wrong here? So let's see. So Captain Kinney, that is a bold move. So I like this. This is way different. Missing two players as well. So not too sure what's gone wrong here. So played Cherry, Willison, Duncan. So maybe forgot to change their team throughout the week. So maybe there's a few easy wins for the boys throughout the season. But did have Chan, Gagai, so I'm not 100% sure what's gone wrong there, to be perfectly honest. Had Lussick, which was a decent shout in the end for your backup hooker. Had Lussick and Levi. That's, yeah, a different strategy. Right on. So maybe a few trades need to be made there, Ross, Nietzsche, to catch up. But any other big score, another high scoring game, Eagle Hawks will be filthy. The 950 and still not getting up. So what do we got here? So Tommy Trbojevic is captain. I like that. Very gutsy. And Garrick. So obviously a Manly fan. I guess Eagle Hawks makes sense. Luke Brooks scored all right. Jackson Paulo, not so keen on. Um, but for shout dropout or short dropout even, Matthews' team. So Jensen, yeah, well scored off the bench. Had Sam Walker at halfback. I think he'll be a nice little pod. Lucas was okay. Obviously got that concussion after having to go out on the wing, so that was just unlucky. Dylan Brown is captain. I guess left a few points on the table there. Had Flegler though, which was nice. So it had May. So it looks like the couple of key players that I missed could have got me a few more points. Fantastic, great work, guys. And the third league. Let's have a quick review of that. So Prestige Worldwide, great name. Got up. So Payne Haas with 71 is a good get. Taylor made. Big Tino. So I like the big front row strategy paid off rather than the big spine strategy that I went with. Finny Fuiaki on the bench. Okay, fair enough. Had Hines and Cleary as well. So where have you cut the corner? So got Harry Grant. Who's your 5'8"? Oh, Ethan Strange. Oh, that's on the bench. I had Cam Munson. So I guess maybe a couple of cheapies on the bench. So, no wonder that team is stacked. Obviously, good for the start of the season, but may want to look at finding some value players to generate that cash. because that's when people are going to catch you in the back end of the season. Oh, there you go. Almost got a ton. The Duke, 991. Still sitting second in the league. That's a bit stiff. So let's see who the Duke had. SJ's vice captain. Reese Walsh, solid. Crossland, wasn't the best, but good enough. Bryce Cartwright, difference maker for sure. But how about Mow You Down? Had Holmes and Zach Labour turning up. That's brilliant. Captain Ponga, but that's okay. Nice. That looks like that's the top score from the head-to-head leagues, and I'm pretty sure that'll be. Oops, didn't mean that. Sure, that'll be the case in the overall league. So yep, the Duke top in the overall league with 991. The Klook Stars with 950. We didn't see them. Let's have a quick look. So Marzu, nice. Johnson, Taylor May, Sean Lane, 41. Yeah, didn't. Captain Drinkwater, which was a bit flat. So yeah, I guess it's just you look at this and you think there's no one outstanding, but it just probably goes to show how flat a lot of my gun options were, that they couldn't even make those 50s and 60 type scores. But that's how it goes sometimes. So yeah, so that's the I guess the leagues. In terms of initial thoughts on trades, so particularly if you're a bit like me and didn't have the best week, I don't think there's need to panic. Obviously it was just unfortunate that all the guns that I had didn't have a good week. Hopefully that means that they're all going to have a better week this week. But the player I am interested in is Totola out, and it should be based on the score. There he is, Terrell May in. So I can afford to do that sideways move. A little bit extra cash in the bank. But I just think May offers a bit more upside. Also, once we find out the news about Spencer Leniu, he goes to the judiciary tonight. So I think that's going to be a pretty good move. In terms of a second move, um, I'm not really sure at the moment. Like probably Cardi's a bit out of my price range, but maybe the likes of trying to get Labour in, he'll be a bit further down the list. But Taylor May, trying to get him in. So, but let's give Roger a second chance. Because I think realistically, I'm just going to add the boost. I'm definitely not boosting in round one. I definitely wouldn't advocate boosting unless you need to make a lot of changes, like maybe Prestige Worldwide wanting to get a few more value players in. But if we get out of, say, him and Hutchison's got the most money, so we get out of them. All right, so then can we afford? I don't think we can afford both Labour and May, so we're a bit short. So, I mean, it could be Kickow, makes way instead. We shuffle around a bit. Cotter might have to sit in the second row for a minute to make that happen, but yeah, we definitely don't want that necessarily. So, yeah, so I guess that's probably the disadvantage of having, this setup with the mid price second rowers is it makes it hard to get to someone like a Bryce Cartwright, who definitely has that upside that we like. But yeah, so at the moment, I'm thinking it'll be just one trade. Totola to Terrell May, get some more points on the front row field. Um, and then in terms of, changing the rest of it up, um, as much as it pains me to say, it's probably going to be Hines against the Dogs as a straight captain at points bet. Um, we can just leave the VC on Ponga. He plays later in the round against North Queensland, but it is in the afternoon. It should be pretty warm, dry track up there in North Queensland. So that could be the play. But yeah, I think that's the way we're leaning. But we'll obviously sort of set everything up in the round preview on Thursday. See what everyone else is doing, all that sort of thing. So yes, this is just that initial reaction type video. Um, we'll talk about a few sort of trade options on Wednesday in the sort of analysis video that I've planned. Um, the round preview on Thursday, I'll sort of show you what my moves are, preview some matchups, that sort of thing. So obviously, stay tuned for all of those. The live draft tonight, just another reminder, get on 6 o'clock Queensland time. I'll probably start the the live video a few minutes earlier. I might even have to do a test run this afternoon just to make sure I know how it works. But yeah, plenty of stuff coming up. So obviously, if you enjoy it, let me know any questions, comments, thoughts below the video. Give us a like if you enjoy the SuperCoach content. Subscribe for all the fantasy content we've got on the channel. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.